Welcome back to Spencer's Triathlon Coaching channel. My name is Garth Spencer, and today we're going to have a little chat about 5 mistakes not to make within your triathlon pursuits. Whether you're a beginner, you've been doing it a few years, or even if you're a seasoned pro, sometimes even the most experienced people do need reminding of these mistakes, me being included. So number one, what we'll look at is not attacking your training too hard and too soon, especially if you've been out of action, whether it's illness, injury, a life-changing event such as having a baby, moving house, and things have taken a bit of time and your training's just gone a bit pear-shaped. Don't start off where you left off. Start off where you currently are, so where your training status is. Ease back into your training and find out your zone 2 heart rate intensity for your cycling and your running, and I'd probably target your lower end of your zone 2. So if you don't know what your zones are or where your heart rate zones are, there's other videos within this channel that you can look in greater detail on how to figure those out. Very important. So in terms of your training, start steady and build into it gradually. Rather than training every single day at a very high intensity, you're going down a one-way route in my opinion, and others where overuse injuries. Now don't forget, overuse injuries within triathlon is the most common injury, and it's 85%. So let's offset that and back off a bit. Listen to our bodies and give our soft tissues, the tendons, the ligaments, the muscles, that chance to recover from the training that you're giving it. So don't go out there too hard and too soon. And when it comes to the cycling, and if you live in a hilly area, which I do, you might not want to tackle all of the big heroic climbs straight off. Maybe do one, get in a nice gear where you can spin up that hill and just give the knees, the hips a bit of respite and a gradual exposure to it so it's actually got time to heal from it. Same with the running. Don't be doing a load of hill repeats, 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, and sprinting back down the hill. Ease into it. Might be an undulating run, that's absolutely fine, but ease into your training. The second mistake not to make is not to have any kind of nutrition plan for your triathlon endeavours. It's not just on the day that matters, it's right before it on the day, it's even after, so the aftercare, how you're going to heal to the best of your ability so you don't feel like dog shit, and also potentially the days, not potentially, definitely, the days leading up to your triathlon. I don't care if it's a sprint triathlon, a half distance or a full distance triathlon, nutrition is vitally important in regards to fueling for this thing. The days leading up to your triathlon, I would down-regulate protein and I'd also down-regulate fibre. And I'd up-regulate your carbohydrate consumption. We're focusing on filling up your muscles and a little bit of your liver with carbohydrate, which is stored glycogen, so we can use it for later use. Now don't forget, within our muscles we can store 75% of this muscle glycogen, and your liver for absolute emergencies 25%. How much, I hear you ask? The research will tell us around, for a carbohydrate loading point of view, 7 grams to 10 grams per kilogram of your body weight. You do the math, you know how heavy you are in terms of your kilograms. Or you might not know, go figure it out. Based on the 7 to 10 grams of carbohydrate, I wouldn't personally do that for a sprint distance triathlon where it's going to be shorter in nature and time-wise, but I would personally from a half distance point of view and a full distance point of view. For the sprint distance, you can probably get away with 3, 4, maybe 5 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of your body weight. Now the chances are your triathlon starts at the crack of dawn. You want to do most of your hard work in terms of feeding yourself the days leading up to it and that last meal. Now depending on your bowel movements, personally I'll leave 12 hours between my last main meal before I need to go to the toilet so I can just empty any stools so I'm not carrying any extra weight. Sorry to be graphic. And because of this early morning start, you're not going to have enough time to eat a meal, digest it, and then start your race, because some of these races can start at 7 a.m. It's not practical, it's not feasible. What you want to do is just top up your carbohydrate load in terms of food or drink. So for myself, it would be a little bit of energy drink. Sometimes it's been a bit of a flapjack, it's been banana, it's been jam on toast, sometimes it's been a little bit of all three. All those foods are fast releasing carbohydrates into the stomach, digest it quickly, you're ready to rock and roll. You certainly don't want any massive protein or any fibre, because that's just going to sit there. And if it's sit there, it's occupying your stomach. If your stomach is being occupied, that's going to take a lot of your blood reserves, and You want the muscles to have the blood and not the stomach. And that's where sometimes gastrointestinal stress can occur. And because of this early morning start, you're not going to have enough time to eat a meal, digest it, and then start your race. Because some of these races can start at 7 a.m. It's not practical, it's not feasible. What you want to do is just top up your carbohydrate load in terms of food or drink. For myself, it would be a little bit of energy drink. Sometimes it's been a bit of a flapjack, it's been banana, it's been jam on toast. Sometimes it's been a little bit of all three. So all those foods are fast releasing carbohydrates into the stomach, digest it quickly, you're ready to rock and roll. You certainly don't want any massive protein or any fibre, because that's just going to sit there. And if it's sit there, it's occupying your stomach. And if your stomach is being occupied, that's going to take a lot of your blood reserves, and you want the muscles to have the blood and not the stomach. And that's where sometimes gastrointestinal stress can occur. Now, the longer your triathlon, the more focus you're going to need for the carbohydrate intake. Now, the research will say you're going to need 60 grams per hour all the way up to 90 grams per hour. Sometimes, on occasions, for certain people, even higher than that. You're going to have to work this one out. You're going to have to play around with it. Don't just leave it to the day, because if your gut isn't used to that, remember, we need to train our gut, because all these different sugars coming in, you might not have the enzymes to break it down. And if you don't have the enzymes to break it down in the gut, you're going to have problems, and you're going to get very familiar with that portaloo within that triathlon venue. Yep, make sure you've got a nutrition plan. Point number 3 I'll make is make sure you've got the proper kit. And the only piece of kit I'm going to talk about in this video today is the swimming related kit. Get some decent goggles, make sure they're fit, make sure they don't fucking leak. Second of all, tri-suit. Look at the size guides on the internet shopping world, make sure you get the right size. Don't go too cheap because it won't last 2 minutes. Go middle of the ground. You don't need to go too expensive for this. Make sure it fits for that tri-suit. For your wetsuit, make sure it is exactly that. It's a wetsuit. Don't be borrowing someone's old windsurfing suit or anything like that, because it's just not going to feel right. You're going to be catching so much water. You're going to go slow, very, very slow. Make sure you get a proper wetsuit. If you can, get properly fitted. And don't forget, if these things don't quite fit you, you can try them on, you can get a feel for it. It wants to feel like a second skin, you can send it back. But if that's the case, you're going to do some prior preparation well before your race and not the week before. A little tip as well, if you're new to this game, for the wetsuit, make sure you slap on plenty of lube, Vaseline for example, or baby oil at the back of your neck, and it'll prevent any kind of rubbing or chafing. Make sure you get that swimming kit ready. Number 4, make sure you know the route. And that goes for the swimming as well. If this is an open water swim, what direction you're going, what buoys are you going for? Is it 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps? Make sure you know what's going on. If it's a pool-based swim, it's fairly easy. Just follow those black lines at the bottom of the pool. In regards to the cycling, make sure you know the elevation. If we don't want to find out there's a mile of climbing in it, and you've been training on flat roads all this time, so know your routes for the cycling as well. Equally with the running, what kind of footwear do you need? Is it pure road? Is it a bit of trail? Is it a bit of both? Make sure you know what's coming your way. Now for the 5th and final tip is going to be the most obvious tip and thing I'm going to tell you. And please don't be offended, but make sure you get exposure to a bit of swimming, to a bit of cycling, and to a bit of running. And also a few brick sessions as well. In regards to those brick sessions, they don't all need to be as hard as hell where your eyeballs are popping out of your skull. You can have low intensity brick sessions, medium intensity and high intensity. You can play around with it. With your swimming, make sure you can hold the distance that's coming your way. So if it's open water sprint, it's 750 meters. Can you hold that without dying on your ass? Cycling wise, try and get the weekly cycles in. Some longer than others and some more intense than others. And like I say, with the brick training, make sure you integrate the run after some bike sessions and let the legs get used to what's coming. Let the neurological adaptations take hold and adapt so your legs don't feel, as the word comes from, like bricks. Now, if you need a helping hand with any of your training, whether you're an absolute seasoned pro or an absolute beginner, that is fine. I do offer a 30-day kickstart course, which gives you all the information you need to know, especially for you beginners, in terms of where to start with your triathlon journey. It's dead easy to follow and I drip feed you the information, easy to digest and easy to implement, and you'll get decent results from it as well. The link to that will be in the comments below. Once again, ladies and gents, thanks for tuning in, and check out some other videos of interest. Speak soon.